This little video is going to tell you how to create a grid in Illustrator, which can be very helpful for you. So the first thing you have to do is you have to create a file. So you either click on New File or Command N. So we go over to the preset window and we are going to have to put in our title. So my title for this exercise is going to be my name dash exercise dash 4. And then we go to the size. I'm measuring everything in inches, so I'm going to first change this to inches, and then I'm going to say 8 and 8 again. And then I'm going to go to more settings. Over here in more settings, you'll see our name has populated, and we have the number of artboards, which we could have entered in here as well. But I knew I was doing this, so I just figured we would wait. So we're going to need 5 artboards for this exercise. And then we're going to talk about the spacing. The spacing is the spacing between the artboards. Since you sometimes have oversized images that are going off of the artboards, you might want to make this a little bit larger than the standard 0.25. So we're going to change this to 1 inch. You can really change it to whatever you want. And then it's a number of columns. I'm going to say 2 columns. You can say 4 columns. You can say 5 columns, whatever you're comfortable working in. So I'm going to say 2. You'll see my 8 by 8 picked up. I'm in inches. And now we have the bleed. Now, you might not use a bleed in this document, but you might. And the bleed, of course, is the area where the image goes off the page and the printer can then trim it, and whatever is trimmed will be perfectly aligned to the edge of the paper. If you just were to make the artwork to the edge of the paper, that would then give you a little white line around it because the printer would trim there, and it just happens that way. Standard trim is 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch. I type it in once because this little toggle is locked. It goes into all of the measurements, top, bottom, left, right. Then we have the color mode. The color mode I have set up standard on my computer is CMYK because I mostly work in print. If you're not working in print, you can choose RGB. Because everything else with mine is set up, it will give me this warning symbol saying that something's wrong. Then we have the raster effects. The ones most commonly worked on are high 300 DPI or PPI. That is for print. And then screen is 72 DPI or PPI. We're working in high here. So then we're going to just say create document. So now I've got all of my documents here. And that is the first couple of steps. So the next thing we're going to do is start the grid. So you're going to hold your shift key down, select the box, and you're going to just go like this. Now, your box here is showing you having a black outline and a white box. That's perfectly fine. And now we need to make sure that the box is 8 by 8. So let's say you didn't have all of this stuff set up. You could go to your workspace, choose automation, or your workspace and choose typography, which is what I'm going to choose. And you'll see that transform is right here on the right. If transform doesn't pop up for you, just go window transform, and a transform window will pop up. You're going to make sure that this grid in the top left has the little bullet in the center, the little square filled in. And then over here, you're going to make sure that you are locked. It's like a little chain link fence. It's locked. We are now going to change the size on the top to 8 and hit enter, and it will automatically change the bottom one to 8. And so we have that here, and I'm going to change this to have no color inside of it. So now you see you have a black box. Then I'm going to hit these align buttons and hit the second one, which is the horizontal align, and then the 5th one, which is the vertical align. So that's where we're stopping right now. The next thing we need to do is we need to divide up the boxes, and we need to offset the boxes. So first we're going to go to Object, Path, where's offset? Offset path. And we're going to offset this path 0.25 away from the edge. So a quarter of an inch away from the edge. It should be miter. Its miter limit should be 4. And that's going to be okay. And that will have us set where we have now moved our box in like this. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to copy this box. So Command C, Command V, paste, and we're going to move it onto the paste board. So that's our next step. You are then going to choose this guide that's in the middle here, and you're going to go View, Guides, Make Guides. Now, if your guides were locked, you would not be able to move this little sucker around. Oh, I chose the outside box. But we want to move it around. So we're going to go to Guides, Unlock Guides, and now I can do whatever I want with it. So then we have this other box over here. And we're going to go Object, Path, Split into Grid. And what I'm going to do is kind of jump around in this window. So I know that I want 4 rows across and 4 columns down. I might mix that up, but anyway, the gutter I want to be 1/4 of an inch, and then that automatically sets the other 2 to what I want them to be. The total of the size is 7.5, and which is the 8.8-inch box minus the 1/4 of an inch all around, and then it gives you the width as well. You can show preview here, and you'll see it popping up over here, or you can just say okay, and it will pop up as well. Now we don't have the guides, and before we make this into guides, I like to copy and paste it as well. So I have an extra set, and then I'm going to group it. So copy and paste is Command C, Command V, and grouping it is Command G. So then I'm going to group this guy because I forgot to do it, and I'm going to go View, Guides, Make Guides. So now we have 2 sets of guides, and I'm going to move this one over here. Oh, I have them both selected. Sorry about that. I'm going to move this one over here, and then I'm going to use these. I'm going to make sure this says Align to Artboard. If it just said Align to Selection, you'll see it's off on the board. But if I say Align to Artboard, it is going to center it on the artboard. I'm using the second one, which is the horizontal align tool, and the 5th one, which is the vertical align tool. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to group, you're going to group these 2 together. So just draw like you're drawing a line around them, a box around them, and hit Command G again. And once you've got them, you have to make sure your guides are not locked yet. And you're going to say copy. So Command C, edit, paste on all artboards. So you now have the grid on all of your artboards. And then you're going to say View, Guides, Lock Guides. So that is how you're making the guide. So now if I said, oh, I like the way this looks, but I really wish that this guy was all the way up here. Of course, this is in my way. And I did this way. It wouldn't move the guides because they're locked. So if you end up wanting to do something like that, you go to unlock the guides, then you can move it all up. It moves with the guides, and then you go back and you lock your guides. Locking your guides is always a good thing. Now, why did I save this over here? I saved it because you're going to be creating art in columns. And in case you want these to be on top of your artwork, you can just bring it up here and center it again. And if you get rid of your guides, just viewing them, you're not really getting rid of them, you're just not seeing them. You hit Command:, and you will then see that I have my boxes here. So you can put your artwork ahead of them, behind them, whatever you want to do. Your guides are still there. Again, Command:, and the guides come back. So that is the entire thing. Go forth and create.